Hi, I'm Dylan Tremblay, and welcome to the Tremblay Show. Build next. What bike could we build next? What bike should we build next? Let me think. Bongo, bingo, beer, little Brodie appear right here. Whoa, Brodie Romax. Look at that beauty. I think that's the perfect bike to build. I love it. Let's build the Brodie Romax. Not too sure what parts we should build this with. Let me try another magic trick. Let's see what we can do here and make some bike parts appear. Bruto, bling. Bring me some parts to build this thing. Whoa, look at all those parts. All the parts to build the Brodie Romax. We got cranks, we got shifters, pedals, a seat. It's all like blacked out, beautiful, vintage parts to build this with. This is gonna be so much fun, guys. I can't wait to get this old Brodie Romax built up and ride it down the street. Let's get right to it and build up the old Brodie Romax. Wow, beautiful. All these parts here. We've got the Brodie handlebar. We've got the vintage original 2-bolt seat post from IRD, Interlock Racing Design. This is Rodney Moses' company. He innovated and invented so many bike parts for mountain biking, and I feel like he's kind of an underrated individual in mountain biking. So shout out to you, Rodney Moses, and the original Interlock Racing parts. Amazing stuff. So we got all sorts of great parts in here. We've got the very rare, sought after, blacked out M730 cranks from Shimano. These came custom on certain bikes back in the day. So they just, and I don't think they ever sold these on their own. I think they just came OEM on bikes. So very rare. So this is basically going to be like a blacked out, beautiful blacked out bike. So I'm really looking forward to this build. What else? Do we got wheels? Whoa. We even got some wheels down there. Okay, so this is everything we need to build the bike. So the cool thing about old Brodies, Rockies, a lot of the old bikes, the paint was always custom back in the day. So I don't know if there is another Brodie out there with the purple and white like this, but imagine going into the paint booth and saying, oh yeah, you paint it white. And then you're like, it looks kind of boring. Let's splash the paintbrush some purple. And then you get this kind of cool paintbrush texture. I don't even know what to call that style of paint. I'm sure there's a word for it. I love it. This frame actually has some really cool history. Originally, I saw this frame online. A guy named Adrian Ford, a collector from the UK, had this bike, posted it on one of the vintage groups, and I fell in love with it right away. Long story short, somehow we agreed on a trade. I sent him 2 bikes and he sent me this bike. Sent them all the way to the UK. This was an interesting time when Brodie was affiliated with the Bicycle Group. The Bicycle Group was affiliated with Kona. And you'll have to get Paul Brodie's book if you want to know the story on the Bicycle Group and Brodie. But I think this was distributed by the Bicycle Group at the time. It's got a 2nd generation gator blade on it. These were hand built by Paul Brodie. He did a 1st generation, which actually was called the curved gator blade because the fork legs curved out. He didn't make very many of those. Huge fan of Paul Brodie. Huge fan of Paul Brodie's bikes. Check out his YouTube channel if you can. He's an innovator, an inventor, and amazingly talented guy. And so thankful we have him in the bike industry. Having the headset and the bottom bracket installed already makes it much easier to build this thing up. So let's get to it. You guys ready to build the bike? Because I'm ready to build the bike. So let's build the bike. Okay. So let's get this build going and get rid of all these parts. Boom. All right. So where'd the parts go? Oh, yeah. Bike frame's gone. And now we're going to build this thing up. Let's get this desk out of here. I need the Brodie frame back. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And let's get the bike stand ready. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when building a bike is put the seat post clamp on. So we'll just thread that on there. And then the next part would be the seat post. Why the seat post? Because the seat post is where you're gonna clamp to the bike stand. So slide that in there. And let's get this bike in the stand. That's kind of what I've been looking forward to. Just clamping that thing down in there. How's that look? One of the exciting things about these old Brodies is that they're all hand stamped, a serial number hidden on the underside of the bottom bracket. So this frame here is number 908. So this is number 908th Brodie that was made. And this one was actually built in November of 89. So way back in 1989, this bike was hand built in Vancouver and imported by Thornhill Cycles all the way over in the UK. Lived in the UK for about 30 years. And then it came all the way back to retire back home in Vancouver. So I'm very thankful to have this nice, beautiful Brodie Romax back in BC, Canada. So let's build her up. We're going to start piecing this together, and I guess let's throw the handlebar on. Handlebar's sitting right there. So is there a perfect order to build a bike with? I don't know. You guys tell me. But I'm going to start with getting this handlebar in here. Carefully slide the bar in. Don't want to damage the logo. And then these beautiful blacked out cranks. Minimal wear. I actually got these cranks from the same guy that I traded this frame for a year down the road. He was nice enough to trade me for these super rare blacked out Shimano M730 cranks. And just like that, we've got some parts on the frame, and now I need to get my Allen keys. Shimano XT rear derailleur. This is a M735, so it fits this 89 era of the frame we got here. So we'll just bolt that on there. Don't force it. Oh, there it goes. Just want it to go in very smooth and effortlessly. Bingo bango. Crank bolt. Oh, so these crank bolts are actually the actual bolt style, not the Allen key style. So we got to get a different wrench. I love the look of the matching seat post, cranks, black stem, and the black handlebar. That's a great start to this bike. Got the rear derailleur on there. And what else we got in this pile on the floor? Basically, we can just pick any part. Got the crank bolt. Threads in there. Ooh, yeah. The front derailleur. Front derailleur was important on bikes from back in the day. Nowadays, we've got bins and bins and bins of front derailleurs just sitting there, rusting away. What are we going to do with all these millions of front derailleurs? Put them on bikes like this. So we can just reach down here. I actually pre-cut my cables and housing just to speed up the whole operation. Okay, so I guess we'll just start with sliding on these shifters. Thumb shifters. Gotta love the thumb shifters. These are the M732. Brake lever just fell out of my back pocket. The M732. Thummies. Gotta love the thumb shifters. Thumb shifters still work so good in my opinion. Okay, we got brake levers. Right brake on the right hand side, left brake on the left hand side. Okay, I think we got it. And just like that, it's looking good. What else we got lying on the floor here? We got this big, beautiful U-brake. U-brake was kind of a fad back in the 80s, 88, 89, and it kind of moved on pretty quick. Most bikes were canty by 91. So were U-brakes just a fad? Well, kind of. I think they're still pretty cool. I love bikes with the U-brake just for the historical value, but they never really worked that great, especially when they're put under the chainstay and got all bunged up with mud. So the U-brake fad faded away pretty quick, just like anodization, which faded away in the sun. We're gonna put that U-brake on with this nice Brodie brace, matching purple. Oh yeah, look at that, slide on there. And what else we got on the floor here? Oh yeah, look at that. So we've got the anodized black canty brake to go with our blacked out Romax. Almost forgot, we've got the Brodie brace. This is the brake stiffener. This helps stiffen the brakes, stiffen it. Helps stiffen the fork when there's flex. So we're definitely putting that on there. Oh yeah, that'll go right there. That's gonna look so good. Can't forget the Cell Italia Turbo saddle. These are really hard to find in the perforated. See all those holes? That's called perforated saddle. So the perforated turbo saddle, this thing is a thing of beauty. Believe it or not, I actually had a perforated turbo saddle on my original Ritchie Ultra when I was like 14 years old. No idea where that saddle went, but I had one of these on my bike when I was a kid. It's looking pretty good. Just quick coffee break to take this all in, take in this beauty of a specimen here, this Brodie Romax. All right, so this is the first build in my studio, so I wanted to keep it kind of simple. So we've got tires on the rims, we got the cassette on the free hub body already, but we can put the quick release through the hub. We can do that. So we'll just slide that QR through there, and then let's just pop this wheel on. I like to pop the wheel on before I pop the chain on. And then we got a chain here. We've got an original Hyperglide chain here. I really tried to keep everything original when I do these builds, like the original cable housing. These tires are a little bit newer. It's just what I had kicking around and they're in good shape. So slide that through there, pull that back through the front derailleur. Oh, come on. Come on, chain. Bada bing, bada boom. Bang, chain's on. We'll have to tighten that down. Let's put the front quick release on. Let's do this quick. Hopefully we can slide this wheel on there without too much problem. And there we go. Oh. QR is tight, wheels are on. That looks pretty good. We're almost there. We just gotta tighten everything up, put the cables through, and then we pretty much have a running bike. At this point in a bike build, I usually like to pull the bike out of the stand. Then I can adjust the saddle. Make sure the saddle's at the right angle. Just fine tune the seat post here. There's a lot of adjustment ability on that. That looks pretty good. Down a little bit. I actually like to have the bike out of the stand for this part where you're adjusting the brakes, the position of the brakes, the position of the thumb shifters. So we just like to sit here and get the right angle. I also like to put the grips on at this point so we can just slide those grips on, because once you got the grips on, then you can adjust the handlebar position, tighten the stem, slide the grips on, and then tweak your brakes, thumb shifters to your desired position. Feels pretty good. We got the levers and the shifters. They're all in a pretty good position here. The bars actually got a little bit of sweep, so I actually like to sweep that upwards instead of downwards, and it just gives you a little bit more of a comfortable ride. And actually, I ride my brake levers in pretty far, so when I pull, I'm just pulling the end of the lever for the best leverage. So all this thing really needs is pedals and some cables. We're almost there. Brake cables. These brake cables from back in the day are actually super beefy. This is the original cables. They're actually way thicker than any of the brake cables nowadays. And then the housing is thicker. Everything is just super beefy. So let's make sure we put this on the right side, the left side, because the right side for the front brake is not the right side. So if we put this right, okay, right hand, left, never mind. All right, here it comes. Oh yeah. Oh, cool. Nice internally routed stem. Clip this bad boy in here. We got the front brake. And let's get this rear brake all set up. Just clip that right in there nicely. Pivot it over and line it all up. And bingo bango. We got brakes, housing, ready to go. That's looking so good. I'm pretty stoked on that. Slight turn. Oh yeah, there it is. Pull the beautiful Brodie brake noodle. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but coffee is delicious. Keeps me going. Got to keep this cup full of hot, steamy, delicious coffee. So if you like the content and you want to support the channel, you can always support me by buying me a coffee. Thank you very much. Let's get back to this bike. Let's get this bike in the bike stand. Oh. Tighten that cable for the shifter. These brakes here can be a little finicky, so you can't really see it, but I've got a little Allen key here that we can back off. Fit the cable in there. Tighten that down. All right, so the two important tools working on old 80s, 90s, older bikes is 10 mil. So these two 10 mil wrenches here will adjust your cable pull for that rear brake. So we want to just pull that little bit, crank that down, 10 mil, 10 mil, tighten it up. See how that feels. We need to add a little tension to that. All right, so let's tension. These U-brakes are super easy. These U-brakes are super easy to tension. So let's tighten this down. Tighten the crossover cable. Attach the crossover. Make sure this bolt's good and tight. Pull the brake. Oh yeah, that brake feels good. Brake feels perfect. The older style cranks, 14 mil bolt. Let's crank this down. All right, that's good. And we've actually got a very special piece to finish off the crank and the bolt. The crank bolt cap. A nice shiny cap. This is actually made of plastic, but this will really finish the bike off quite nicely. It just doesn't look great with that bolt there, so you just throw this cap on. Just thread that on there. That looks pretty nice. Look at that nice cap. Oh. And we got to connect the chain. Make sure the chain is connected again. It's not a quick link. Most people have quick links these days, but there weren't any quick links back in the 90s, as far as I know. Cinch this down. Oh yeah, that looks good. Let's see if it pedals. I do find that old bikes are just so easy to work on. Right now I'm just adjusting the front derailleur, making sure it's just a couple millimeters from the big ring, making sure it's aligned with the chain and the rings. So we'll crank that down. And then I think all my tools were actually stolen about a year ago, so I don't have any bike tools. I don't have all my original bike tools that I had for 20 years, so using what I got, but there's a lot of tools that I miss, so I'd be using a single Allen key right now because this thing is too clunky to get in here safely. But we did it. And let's see. Ooh. Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. Smooth. Smooth like butter. Just going through all the gears. Love it. We'll have to do some adjustments, but this is coming together great, guys. Pretty happy the way the bike looks. Oh! How to stop a wheel in 0.1 seconds. So the wheel set on this bike, the Wolber ET20 and the blacked out XT M732. I actually built these wheels a couple years ago for this bike specifically because I collected all the parts for this bike and then built it up. And I looked out for just a really nice condition Wolber ET20 in this black ano. So pretty happy with the way the wheels look on this, and they are era correct. So yeah, shout out to the XT black XT hubs and the Wolber ET20 rims. So it's not currently shifting into the big ring or the small ring, so we're just going to back off the screw a little bit and let's see, almost. Boom. Big ring. We might need that big ring. Okay, so big ring, middle ring, and we're gonna need the granny too, so that should be it. There we go. All three gears, big, middle, and small. Shifting, just like magic, shifting through all the gears, everything's adjusted. All these adjuster screws, they're fun to learn. I'm sure you guys, some of you guys must know how to adjust a front derailleur, rear derailleur, but it's something we can go over if that's something you want to do at some point. But for now, it's done. This bike's shifting, front and rear. This bike's braking. We just got to set up this front brake and then it's pretty much ready to ride. All right, so the last thing we got to do, other than the pedals, I've got a set of pedals right there, but I actually want to dig out a set of the wider pedals from that era. Those are the skinnier ones. We'll throw those on, but I think we'll go for the bigger pedals. But the last thing we're going to do is get this front brake working. So we need the crossover cable. I don't have the crossover cable. Where's the crossover cable? Have you guys seen the crossover cable? The last part. How do we lose the last part? What? On my head? Oh, is that it? That's it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. Perfect. That should do the trick. We got the crossover cable. So we're just going to tuck that in there. It's exciting. This is the last step. We got to slide this in here. So same kind of process getting this brake set up. We got to get the 10 mils, crank that down. We got the crossover cable. We found that thanks to you guys. So thanks for the help. Always appreciated, especially the last part. Of course, I lose the last part. Okay, so make sure everything's tight here. Crossover cable tight. Down with the 10 mil. Oh yeah. And then we've got another 10 mil over here. So we're just gonna adjust that. Tighten her down. It's kind of fun. Everything's 10 mil. Oh, that's, make sure the brakes both feel okay to balance it out. But yeah, that looks pretty good, guys. So we'll just put the pedals on, cable ends, and it's pretty much done. We're going to want to make sure that this cap is on tight. You don't want to lose those caps. So I've got this C-clip tool or a spanner. I used to have a spanner, but that was gone with my tool kit. So just tighten that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, guys, I think that's it. The Brodie Romax, hand painted by the art department, Art Tyler. The 1989 Brodie Romax is complete. First build in my living room, bedroom, bike building studio. So hope you guys like this video. You can like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks for watching. You know that we got to go ride this bike now. Definitely got to go ride this thing. I'm pretty pleased with this bike. I'd actually planned this build for quite some time. Just all the parts were definitely planned out beforehand, collected, and then finally put together for your eyes to feast on this beauty of a Brodie. So yeah, thanks guys. Really appreciate you guys coming by and watching this build. More builds in the works, downhill bikes, old 70s bikes, cruisers. I've got so many bikes that I gotta build up and ride. So hopefully you guys can join me. We might as well just do like a small little test ride. You guys want me to do a little test ride on this? Take it outside, do some maybe wheelies and endo. We'll try the skinny on this. Should we try the skinny? Let's head outside. I'm not gone quite yet. You want to take this outside? You want to take this outside? All right, I guess we're taking this outside. Whoa, we're outside, look at that. All right. Oh, and a matching shirt. That bike and that shirt. Now that is a nice match. Let's ride around. We're just gonna stick to this one here. Just outside in the yard, testing out a couple little stunts, and the bike actually feels pretty good. We're gonna take it out for a real mountain bike ride, but I thought it'd be fun just to take it out back here and do a couple tricks, do a couple stunts. While I'm out here, I thought this would be a good time to give my buddy Rick Fulla a shout out. Thank you, Rick Fulla, for finding this Edo helmet. Fits pretty good. Might have to add a little bit of foam, but I've been looking for an old Edo helmet for quite some time. Still looking for the earlier version, or even one with a little bit of purple. Purple would match this bike just so well, but I'm so stoked to finally have an Edo helmet, just like Tinker Juarez.